welcome back to the fourth Sphero mini lesson. Today we are going to be learning about conditionals using the Sphero mini and the Sphero Edu app. As I'm speaking, if you have any questions, please use the raise hand function in Zoom. And with that out of the way, we can get started. So has anybody heard of conditionals? Put your hand up if you have. If you haven't, that's all right. It might be a new thing to you, but it's something that is used a lot in programming. So what a conditional is it's an action that occurs if something happens. So that might be a little confusing, but just think about it like if something occurs, then this will happen. Just remember if and then. So for example, if you are in the Sphero mini class, then you are happy. Does that make sense, everyone? Thumbs up if that makes sense. Okay, I'll give a few more examples just to clarify it. So I'll show you this picture. Oops. Okay, this might be better. So if you have a look at this picture, if it is raining, if it's true, which means it is raining, then we have to stay indoors. If it is raining, if it's not raining, if it's false, then we have to go outside. Then we can go outside. So does this make sense? So if raining is true, which means it is raining outside, then we can go, then we have to stay indoors. If it's not raining outside, which means raining is false, then we can go outside because it's sunny. I'll have a little activity for everyone. So I will say an if condition. So I will say this part, and then you will have to say the then. Okay? So you can just type it in the chat what the then will be. So I will get a notepad out. So maybe this will help. So if the teacher is talking, then what do? Type in chat. So if the teacher is talking, then what do? And if you need help, you just look at this picture here. So if it is raining, then we'll have to stay indoors. If it's not raining, then we can go outside. Be quiet. You have to listen. Yes, exactly, Miriam. Ryder, you got it. That's correct. Ayan, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just joined. So what were you doing?
Right. So we're learning about conditionals today. And what a conditional is, it's if and then statement. So if the teacher is talking, then you have to do something. If it is raining, then we have to stay indoors. Okay, so I'll give another one. Let's see. if you don't clean your room, then what happens? Just type in chat. If you don't clean your room, then what happens? Your mom will get angry. Exactly right. So these are conditionals. So these are what are called conditionals. And basically, you have to remember that if you see an if and then, so if this condition is true, then this will happen. So I'll just use the examples that you put in chat. So if you don't clean your room, then mom will be angry. Or if the teacher is talking, then you have to listen. So just always remember if this is true, if this condition is true, then something will happen. So those are conditionals. And we're going to program this Sphero to use conditionals. So does everyone understand that? Put your thumbs up if you understand what conditionals are. Thumbs down if you don't, and I can explain it again. Awesome. So we can move on if everyone understands. Thomas, do you understand? Ayan, do you understand? Okay, so we're going to do a conditional in the Sphero Edu app using this Sphero Mini. So to do that, I will show you my screen. Actually, could everyone show me their Spheros? Does everyone have it with them? Awesome, I can see that everyone has it. So now open up your phones. And then we're just gonna do the same thing as last week, go into the Sphero Edu app, which is here, the blue one. Click that. And make sure you turn your Bluetooth and your location on. And then you'll be on this screen. And then we want to connect that Sphero. So we click the bottom right, the driving icon. It will check for the Spheros. And then if yours is there, click on it and it should connect. And there'll be a green tick once it's connected, and it'll show you this screen. So once you've connected, give me a thumbs up. Awesome, Miriam's got it. Ryder's got it. If you need any help, just use the raise hand. Raise your hand in Zoom or on your camera, and I can help you. Thomas, you got it? Ayan, have you connected? Belinda? You should see this screen here. Awesome. So once you're on this screen, you can test out that your Sphero is driving the right way, is aimed the right way. So you just click the bottom left aim. And then we, just like last week, we want to aim so that the blue dot on the Sphero is pointing towards us, pointing towards you. So make sure the blue dot, when you hold down the little circle here on the screen, you'll see a blue dot in your Sphero, and you want to make sure that is pointing towards you. And then you can let go. And then once you finish that, you can test it. Test that the Sphero is driving the right way by going up. And then your Sphero should move up. So when you tap this circle and you drive around, your Sphero should follow where you are driving. So if it's up, it should go up. If it's down, it should go down. Same with left and right. So once that works, we can exit out of here. And then just like last week, we can create a program. So click the programs on the bottom there. Click the big plus button. We can call this program conditionals. Call it conditionals. Program type should be blocks. And then compatible robots should be Sphero Mini. Once you've done that, press create. And then once you've created it, just put a thumbs up. Awesome. Ayan, Mariam's got it. Ryder, have you got it? Thomas? Do you have a question, Ryder?
I don't know how to spell conditionals.
That's okay. So if you look on my screen, it's CONDITIONALS.
Okay.
Okay, so once we've done that, just press create. It comes to this screen, just like last week. And then last week we learned about the movements, lights, and sounds. Today we're going to go into the next one, which is controls. So we learned about what these were. These are blocks that perform an action. And if we scroll along about halfway, we can see the conditionals there. So we can see it's if and then. And then if we click and drag them, so this first one here, if this is true, something's true, then something happens, just like we did before. And we can set the action to a comparator. So if you scroll along from controls, there's operators and then there's comparators. So you go to comparators, and then you'll have these. And these are basically what condition has to be true. So if I drag this here and I put it in place of the true, just like this, and then it should fit in the if block. And then now, if this action is true, then something will occur. So what this says is if 0 equals to 0, then this will happen. So those three equal signs in the middle is saying that if the left-hand value is equal to the right-hand value, then this will happen. And we can change these values. So we can make it 1, we can make it any number we want. So now if 1 equals to 0, then this will happen. But 1 doesn't equal 0, so then nothing will happen when we run this. And if we want to change some of the numbers, Ryder, do you have a question?
I went through I kept swiping, but I went all the way to blocks without finding conditions.
Okay, so have you swiped to the fourth one? So it should be the fourth one from the start.
So control?
Yep, controls.
Okay.
And then everything in controls is a conditional.
Okay, I got it.
Nice. So just drag the if, then conditional.
Okay.
Okay. So, hello, is there another class next week? I came late. I don't understand what I'm talking about. Yes, there is another class. Next class we'll be talking about more advanced stuff. So I would recommend just watching the recordings on YouTube. There should be a link that's given in the emails that will have the link to our previous classes. You can watch and then catch up on. Toby. Okay, so we have our if block, and then what's in the if block is an action. And if this action is true or false, then something will happen. So in our comparators, all of these are action. All of these are conditions that can be true or false. So the first one is if a number equals another number. Next one is if something's true and we can change these. So if it's true and false or true and true. And the next one is if your robot is, and we can select different types of robots. But we don't need to worry about these now. We'll just stick with the first one, which is comparing if something equals to something. And we can change these. So if something is less than something, something is greater than something. And that's something we can specify. So it can be a number, like it is now here, or we can change it by going into sensors, which is the next one after comparators. And what sensors are? It's these all these blocks represent something about the Sphero. So the first one here is the accelerometer, which is just a fancy way of saying how fast it's going. So the first one is how fast the Sphero is. And the other ones are like if it's spinning or what location it's in. We'll touch on these other ones in another lesson, but for now, we'll just talk about the first one, which is accelerometer. So we'll take accelerometer and then we'll put it into where the 1 is, just like this. So now this is saying if the accelerometer is equal to 0. So if the speed equals to 0, if the speed equals to 0, then something will happen and we can say what happens. So if the speed of the sphere is 0, which means it's not moving at all, then something will happen. Now we can do the then statement, which is we can go to our lights. So really we can, in this then statement, we can say whatever we want. We can make it light up. We can make it play a sound. We can make it move if it's staying still. And I think we will make it light up. Make it light up in, you can pick a color. I'll say red. We'll make it play a sound. And you just click the block and drag it to underneath the then. And just make sure it's connected. So we can make it play a sound. Can play a random sound. And then that's our conditional right there. So now to make this conditional work for our Sphero, we can put it onto our onStart program, or we can create a function like we did last week. And we're going to create a function. So scroll to the very end. And then we click on functions. But first, give me a thumbs up if you've got the conditional working. If you got it here, just like this. Ryder's got it, Miriam's got it. Awesome, just give me a thumbs up. Ayan, Thomas, do you have it working? Toby, do you have it working? Oh, sorry, Toby wasn't here. Thomas, Belinda, do you have it working like this? Awesome, okay. So now to get this working, we can create a function, just like we did last week. We can call this toss. And then we can press the tick button on the top. Now we drag the function onto the top of this conditional. And then we go to the very end, swipe to the very end of functions, and then we'll have our action block here, which we need to add to our onStart program. So now your block should look something like this. So now if we start this program, nothing will happen because what this function is saying, it only goes through this function once. So when you click start, it'll check if it's not moving. And then it will light green, it'll light red, and then it'll play random sound. So at the moment, this function won't work because it's only checking it once. But to make it check a lot of times, we have to add a loop, which if we go to the controls again, and then we go to loop forever, this one here, and then we drag it onto the top of the function, just like this. So now this code, what the loop forever does is it keeps repeating what's inside of it forever. And we'll talk about this in next lesson as well. There's some other loops that you can do, but loop forever just basically runs this code inside of it forever. So now, if we press start, oh, actually, sorry, we have to change this. We have to change the total accelerometer. We have to change it to be greater than 3. So just change that. The total accelerometer to be greater than 3. And what this statement is saying is if the Sphero is staying still, then it will do something. So has everyone got this? Thumbs up if you got this. And once you've got this, you can press start. And it won't do anything at the moment, but what we said in our if statement, in our conditional, we said that if it's moving, if this Sphero is moving, then it'll do something. So right now it's staying still, it's not doing anything. But if we move it, like if we throw it up, it'll make a sound. So if you throw it up, it'll play a random sound and it'll light up red. So keep trying. Sometimes it takes a few throws to make it play a sound, but if your Sphero lights up red, then you know it's working. You can even shake your Sphero. You don't have to, you can throw it if you want to. You can throw it if you want to, or you can shake your Sphero. Just try not to, make sure you catch your Sphero after you throw it. And when I shake it, it glows red and it plays the sound. So thumbs up if that's working for you, or put your hand up if you need help. Ryder, do you have a question?
I was taking my Sphero and then I was throwing it, but it didn't light up red.
Okay, so does your function look like this? So does it have the main LED as red here? Or is it another color?
Oh, it's another color.
It's another color. Okay. So whatever color you put here, it will light up that color.
Okay.
So it can be red, it can be blue, green, just any color you want, you can just put it here.
Okay.
Okay, so just make sure your function looks like this. And then when you press start, it should work.
Okay.
And you don't have to throw your Sphero, you can just shake it around if that's easier. Ayan, do you have a question?
Yeah, whenever I stall, my spirit doesn't make a sound.
So whenever you stop, did you say?
No, whenever I start, it doesn't make a sound.
Yep. So when you start it, it won't make a
Yeah.
sound because it's staying still. But when you move it around, it should light up and make a sound.
Oh, okay.
See if that works for you.
Thank you.
So thumbs up if that works for you. Yep, Ryder. Nice work. How about everyone else? How's Thomas? How are you going? Miriam, how are you going? Belinda, Ayan, not working? Do you need any help?
It's still not working because I kept shaking it. It's not working.
Okay,
And
so
that's unstuck.
your function
did
has to
it.
look something like this.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so did you change your if statement? So did you change this to 3? To greater than 3?
Right.
So just press that, change to greater than,
Yeah.
and then change this to 3.
Oh yeah, it works.
Awesome. So yeah, what this is saying is if the accelerometer, which is the speed of it, if it's greater than 3, which means it's moving, it's not staying still, then it will run this code in the middle. And these actions in the middle, they can be anything. If you want, we can add more to it. We can add different sounds, so we can make it speak something. We can add some extra lights. If we wanted to, we can make it fade, just like we did last week. Lots of lights and sounds. We could add movement to it, but when it moves, it'll probably move out of your hand, or you'll probably just start vibrating. So just play around with this and just see what you can add to it. And once everyone's got this working, we can do another conditional. So thumbs up if you got it working, and then we can do the next one. Awesome. Do you have a question? Okay, so I think we can move on to the next one. So we're going to do the same thing what we did here, but we're going to change the condition. So we're going to change what's in here, what's inside the if statement. And there's a few things we can change it to. We can change it to, we can make it so that it plays something when the Sphero is staying still. And does anyone know how to do that? Try change this function so that your Sphero will light up and play sound when it's staying still. See how you go with that? And I'll give some hints. In 2 minutes, I'll give some hints if you're struggling. And if you need any help, just raise your hand. So again, try to make this function work when your Sphero is staying still. At the moment, this function works when it's moving, and we want to do the opposite. We want to make it work when it's staying still. So Miriam says use the next block. Have you got it working, Miriam? Does your robot activate these actions when it's staying still? Oh, you got it working. Awesome. Do you want to show the class? Okay, so if you need any hints on how to do this, inside the if block, we have the speed. So if the speed is greater than 3, and which means that if it's faster than 3, and 3 in this case is the movement of it. So this could be any value. If it's 0, if this value here is 0, then it's not moving at all, so it's staying still. If this value is 1000, then it's moving very fast. So if we want to make this activate these actions in here, when this is true, then we need to change the condition in the if block. And right now it's saying the speed is greater than 3. We have to make it so that the speed is 0. So it's equal to 0. So try that out. Try making the speed equal to 0 in here in the if condition. And remember that the total accelerometer is the speed, and we have to make it equal to 0. Miriam, do you have a question?
No, but I want to demonstrate.
Yeah, sure.
I use the next block after the numbers 1, and it made a sound without moving.
Awesome. Nice job. So you used this block here. Oh, you can't see my screen actually. So you used the block next to the accelerometer. Is that correct?
No, not the X. Wait. I use the true one. This one. What is what is the شوية؟ لا النور.
Oh, okay. So you used a different comparator.
Yes. Yeah, Mr. We love
And that worked. Okay. Good job.
so no.
So anyone else get it working? If not, that's okay. I'll demonstrate how to do it now. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this one here. And we're going to change this to the 3 equal signs. Now what these 3 equal signs mean is if the left value is equal to the right value, which is 3, then this is true. So now we change it to equals. We change this from 3 to 0. And now this is saying if the speed of your Sphero is equal to 0, which means it's not moving, it's staying still, then this will work. So now you can press start and see how you go with that. Sometimes if you put it down or you're holding it, it might move a little. So then you'll have to change the 0 to, change this equals to less than, which is here. So this is greater than we used before. This is less than. We're going to do less than. We can do less than 3. So now if you press start, you should make different sounds when your Sphero is staying still. So just have a look what I did here and see if that works for you. So put a thumbs up when that works for you, or hands up if you need any help. Thumbs up if you got it working. I know Ryder has it working. Miriam's got it working. Have everyone else eyes got it working? Awesome. Ayan, Thomas, do you have it working? Ian? Okay, so Toby couldn't sign into the app, so I had to use the browser. That's all right. Ian is charging. Okay, no worries. So just rewatch the recording and then you can just catch up on what we did today. But hopefully everyone knows more about what conditionals are. Just to do a bit more practice again, I will have a little activity, which is this. So again, just to show what conditionals are, it's if and then, and I've got a few questions here that you can answer. So just type in chat what the answers are to these. So we can do the first one. If you do your homework, then what happens? Awesome, Miriam, you can play. That's correct. Stop, Toby. That's correct. 2 is stop. Oops. 3 is eat. Good work, Toby. Good work, Miriam. And if you touch your friend during tag, then they're out. Here's it. They're in. That's correct. So there's a lot of different answers to these. They can be anything, but as long as they make sense to the if condition, then it's okay. So again, if this is true, then something happens. So this could be anything. So if you do your homework, then you could play, or then you get a lolly. This then can be a lot of things, and you can, when you're programming, you can write what this then says. So it's up to you what this then is, but as long as it makes sense to the if, then it's correct. So we do have a few minutes. I'll write up some more questions. So if you are in math class, then what happens? If it is hot outside, if it is hot outside, then what? Oops. If your alarm clock goes off, then what happens? So 3 more questions. Miriam's got the answers. Good work. Ian, you've got it as well. Nice. For the in, go to bed. Yep, these are all correct. So 5. If you're in math class, then you answer questions. If it's hot outside, then you can put on sunscreen. You can have ice cream. There's a lot of things you can do. And then for the 7th one, if your alarm clock goes off, then you go to bed. You turn it off, then go to bed. You wake up. There's a lot of different answers, but as long as they make sense to the if statement, then they're all correct. So I hope everyone understands what conditionals are now. Put your thumbs up if you understand. And put your hand up if you need any help. Yep, else, that's correct, Toby. Yeah, we're not there yet. So we'll go through that next week alongside the loops as well. It's a great thing that you know that, though. That is something we will touch on. Right, do you have a question?
Actually, I'm still trying to type in all the answers, but you went too quick for me.
Oh, that's okay. So as long as you know how this works, then it's fine. So as long as you know how the if and then work, what to put in as the answer, then I think that should be all good. So I think it's about time to wrap up. Brilliant Kids Admin. What do you think? Okay, so I hope everyone understands this. If you don't understand this, just have a rewatch of the recording, and we'll go through these questions. And I think that's about it for today. Next week we'll be learning about the else. So if then else, basically just adding an else here, which says what happens when this is not true. We'll talk about that next week, as well as loops. So loops, which are basically they keep going, they keep repeating until something happens, until something is met. And we'll talk about that next week as well. So I hope to see you all there, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And I'll see everyone next week. Bye, everyone. Well, I'll unmute everyone so that you can all say goodbye. Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye.